This is our last lecture of this course, and I'm just going to talk a little bit about remotely piloted aircraft systems. And this is basically drones, right? The RPAS system, or drones. So the whole purpose of this is just to give you a really brief overview. This is a lot more complicated than what this little tiny introduction gives you. So um, So I'm just going to kind of give you touch on a few things here. So again, drones are not I'm not a pilot for drones. I don't fly drones. Most of my background is in either terrestrial or spaceborne. So this falls in the airborne world, and it has become it's booming right now. It's like a huge deal right now. So the the thing is that it's the reason it's so complicated because there's so many options out there, and it's now becoming like super competitive to build these drones, but also it's becoming desperately needed for more people to be able to fly these. So there's different ones that you can learn how to use, or ones that you can use, and they have different purposes. So there's a multi-rotor system, which means that you could fly it and it can hover like a helicopter. Or there's a fixed wing, which is one that propels forward and can do lines, like a whole series of lines back and forth. And between those two, there's a huge range of pricing and a huge range of capabilities. There's different sizes, everything else. So if you want to check out any of the manufacturers, here's just a little tiny list of manufacturers. There are more. If you're here in Calgary, they have different, you can go to the Apple Store or Multi-Rotor Heli or Canada Drones. Those are just a couple of the local ones. Again, this PowerPoint's old from 2016, so in the last 5, 6 years, it's definitely boomed. So these are only just a small selection. So what is really cool about it and what's the power of it is that when you have this technology, you have this drone, you can add different sensors to it. So there's cameras, so you can use true color, sorry, or video. You can use thermal imaging, you can use color infrared, multispectral, which can be everything from visible light all the way to infrared. So you can have hyperspectral, and you can even put LiDAR on it. And some of them now even have microwaves on them. So this is a very, very cool and powerful technology to be able to move your sensors around and to get a different perspective of the Earth. So to do it, you need a significant amount of hardware and software. So you need planning software, you can get flight control software, you need software that can map, you need environmental assessment information, so maybe not specifically software, but access to that kind of information, such as weather forecasting and wind reading, because it is wind dependent. If it's howling wind, you cannot go out and fly a drone very well, especially because a lot of them are smaller. And if it's like super cold out, generally they're not great because they need batteries to last. So they can last for a little while and then they kind of die off. And that's just the nature of, of cold weather in Canada. So also with that, they're a little bit of weather dependent, but the other thing is that they're actually regulated. And that's when I said that I'm not a drone pilot. So, I cannot give you any advice on how to do this and how to fly, but I can tell you that there are places you can go to learn and that there's stuff that you can do recreationally without being a pilot. So there is this web page here that you can go to, and this is for Canada. And you can find out what is safe and legal for you to go out and buy a drone, test it out, and just go out and see what it does. So if you go there, Transport Canada looks after that. And so you can see things such as if it weighs more than 250 grams, but no more than 35 kilograms, you have these rules that you need to follow. So for example, you need to be within 500 meters of yourself or closer, and that it has to be during the day when there's no clouds. It has to be within your sight. And then, of course, there's a lot more here that you would go through and read. So if you don't follow this, then you could face fines up to $3,000. So it is a regulated industry, and you can get some, you can go out and have some fun with it, but it is very, very, so yeah, you know what you're doing, even if you're taking it out for fun and just playing with it. So other things too is that if you are going to do this for money, then you need a special flight operations certificate. This is going to allow you to tell you like how far you're allowed to fly it away from yourself, how much you're allowed to do with your drone. So that allows you to do that. Also, there's other knowledge things, for example, operating within visual line of sight and everything else. So again, you can go to this page and check it out and see what you are allowed to do and what you're not allowed to do. You can go get a certificate too if you need to. So some of them have some courses that you can take, some of them that you don't need to. It's just being able to read through rules and follow them. So when you go to process this data, you need a good computer. It requires a high-end central processing unit, so CPU. You need high values of random access memory, so RAM, and you need a really good graphics card. So gaming systems are really good for this because they contain all of that, or you know, a really good computer otherwise. So there are open software choices. There are also proprietary software choices. So go ahead and give them a try and check them out. You can also get standalone software. So you go out and you can bring stuff in on your own, or it can be embedded. So you can actually see what's going on from your drone and on your phone, for example. A few good software, if you're going to pay for it, Pix4D is the top one. We use that in the Geomatics Engineering Technology program. Esri has Drone to Map. They have and that's also a paid product, but you know it's also quite good. And Agisoft is another one. I don't know much about that one, but if they list it, then it's obviously got to be a good one as well. Probably paid, but again, I haven't. I think it's like a GIS software is kind of what it's supposed to say. But then there's products. So once you've completed your data, what do you get out of it? So one of them is orthophotography, also digital surface models. You can also get digital elevation models. A lot of people use them for different products, such as like calculating volumes of gravel piles, creating three-dimensional models, like surface models of your buildings, and so there's lots and lots of applications for it. So if this is something you're really excited about and you would love to have a job going out and like flying drones and then coming back and processing it and doing that as a living, there's two professional associations that are available. One is Unmanned Systems Canada. The other one is Model Aeronautics Association of Canada. Both of them have different certification processes and memberships and provide constant professional development. So definitely check those out. So just looking at a couple applications, I was there when this one was being run. I was actually teaching students how to do laser scanning at the same time on the ground. So to see this, this is what the flight plan looked like. And so where are the photos going to be taken as they are flying through the Turner Valley gas plant historic site? And so that's what it was looking like there. And so you can see the quality. You can see how, even though this one looks like it's LiDAR because it's turned into a point cloud, but it would have been photos and then converted to into a LiDAR type of system. And the reason we do that is because it's just a little easier to work with. So when you start working with imagery, a lot of people turn it into a point cloud and then they turn it back to imagery. So again, you can see here what that looks like. And you can see how it's looking very realistic. With the snow on the side and nice and cleaned up, and make a nice 3D model of that. Then there's this other provincial historic site as well. So we can see that this one's being planned as well. You can see that the flight plan is a little different because they obviously needed more information at this side rather than this side. And it's possibly because of these. So you have some of these buildings that are in here that are kind of like ruins. So just kind of preserving that. And again, there's a couple of them in that area. So trying to preserve this historic site and capturing everything. We would know exactly what the measurements are of those buildings and what they look like at this time. And then here is a digital elevation model. So we can see again, where are the building footprints. You can see where the ruins are. There might be some other things that are in different locations that are of importance. So, yeah, we can pull lots and lots of information of it. And that is it. That is everything from this course. And so that wraps up the drones, the unmanned aerial systems. And I don't have anything else to say for that. So there's no summary in these PowerPoints. But please, if you do want to get into drones, make sure that you find some certification process. And if you really, really like it, go become a pilot. And then you can do a lot with that.